Caption close Beirut, AP, at a news conference announcing the end of yet another fruitless round of peace talks in Geneva last week, the UN envoy for Syria held up a color-coded map showing the divisions of territorial control in the war-torn country. The multicolored image displayed by a frustrated Staffan de Mistura is what Syria looks like today, a collage of mostly ravaged enclaves controlled by an assorted mix of local and foreign powers, each with a stake in the country's ongoing civil war. Nearly 7 years into the conflict, the war seems on one level to be winding down, largely because of Russian-backed government victories and local ceasefires aimed at freezing the lines of conflict. Underscoring this perception is the fact that President Bashar Assad, however battered and bruised, has survived the conflict, sitting more comfortably now than at any time since the rebellion against his rule erupted in March 2011. The fight against the Islamic State group, which at one point controlled a third of the country, is almost over, with both Russia and the United States declaring victory in their mission to defeat the extremist group. Yet the country is still a tangled mess, with violent conflict likely to continue for the foreseeable future. Despite stepped-up diplomatic efforts, the parties are no closer to reaching a peace settlement than they were in 2012, when the first round of peace talks was held in Switzerland. Assad will not voluntarily step aside and will likely stay on at least until 2021, when his current second presidential term ends. The opposition, down but not out, has not completely abandoned its goal of toppling him militarily. Fierce fighting continues in some areas and a humanitarian catastrophe unfolds in a government-besieged area a short drive away from the capital of Damascus. It may have shifted to a more stable and less violent phase, but the Syrian conflict is likely to bleed through 2018 and potentially longer, as prospects for new conflicts loom large. Military limitations. Thanks to Russia's military intervention, Syrian government forces have retaken large swaths of rebel and IS-held areas, including main cities such as Homs, Aleppo, and most recently, Deir el-Zur. This month, they entered the rebel-held province of Idlib in northern Syria for the first time in years. Toppling Assad militarily, a prospect that appeared within reach less than 2 years ago, now seems to have been ruled out, and even his most vocal opponents have moved away from their goal of ousting him. But there are limitations to the Syrian army's military conquests, and despite the assistance from allies Iran and Russia, Assad is unlikely to achieve lasting control over the entire country. In fact, nearly half Syria's territory remains outside his control, and major bloodshed still lies ahead if he moves to seize those areas, including the sprawling rebel-held eastern Ghouta region near the capital and the northern province of Idlib, where al-Qaeda-linked militants dominate. Syrian Kurds in the north have also carved up a huge semi-autonomous enclave for themselves, estimated at nearly a quarter of the country.